Okay, hello everybody. Welcome to a special edition of Minstrels and Bards, Painter Poets. And it's featuring Jennifer Hosein, who's an incredible artist, and myself. And there are, I think, 9 people who are going to be sharing a few poems. So that's very wonderful. And we're all sort of, Jennifer and I are just psyched up for this. And then we're going to collapse afterwards, right?
Oh gosh, yes.
She was up late working on video and I was trying to finish a painting at 4 o'clock this afternoon. So I guess that's pretty much it, as long as you're all comfortable and, let's just have fun and have a nice evening. Jennifer?
Oh, are you ready? Okay, so hi. So we will begin with a land acknowledgement for the city of Toronto. I would like to acknowledge that we're on the traditional territory of many nations, including the Mississaugas of the Credit, the Anishinaabe, the Chippewa, the Haudenosaunee, and the Wendat peoples, and is now home to many diverse First Nations, Inuit, and Métis people. We also acknowledge that Toronto is covered by Treaty 13 with the Mississaugas of the Credit. We are grateful to have the opportunity to work on this land. It is important to understand the long-standing history that brought us to reside on the land and to seek to understand our role within that history. I would also like to thank the League of Canadian Poets for their generous support. Okay. Brenda?
Our first person sharing a few poems is Alexandra Innes, who I've known maybe since 2014. Do you think we go back that far? And we were actually born in the same year. Just a little known and a kind of a wonderful thing. So yeah, she's written some absolutely delightful and wonderful poems, and looking forward to hearing her this evening. So you're unmuted now. Okay, I'm going to mute myself. And
okay, thank you. So hello everybody, very, very nice to be here with fellow and sister creative types. That's always a lovely thing. So contrary to what Brenda was just saying, I'm actually going to read a prose piece. So you can think of it like a prose poem. So on the Facebook invitation, it said that Halloween was kind of the theme. So I'm going to read a piece called Are You Haunted by Your Past? And this is on my blog. My blog is called wholehearted.com. So you might get cat interruptions. So, are you haunted by your past? I had a bad dream last night, a really bad dream. I was in a town or a city that was unfamiliar to me. It was a winter night. I left a place I had visited and walked out into the darkness to find my car where I had parked it, on the street. But it wasn't where I thought I'd left it. I started wandering up and down the empty streets, going up to any white parked car that I saw. None of them were mine. A familiar sinking sensation of feeling lost and helpless enveloped me, submerged me. Next thing I knew, I was inside my car. It was full of stuff, which I wasn't thrilled about, but I kind of accepted. I had a hard time finding the right key to start it up. And then a man appeared at the front passenger door, which he then opened to get in, to get me. I was terrified. I yelled, fuck off at him, and kicked out towards him with my legs. That's when I awoke to find my bedclothes askew. I had yelled and kicked in real life, which woke me up. Still shaken and foggy, I straightened out the bedclothes. Just before slipping back into dreamless sleep, I thought, at least the dream is over and I can stop looking for my car now. Next day, with the luxury of time endowed upon me by the Canadian Thanksgiving holiday, I reflected on my dream. I realized that even though I was inside my car trying to find the right key to start it, I still had inside me the fear and the insecurity of when I couldn't find my car. In my dream, I wasn't aware and didn't recognize that there had been a shift. There was no moment of, oh goody, I found my car. I still carried the energy of, oh my God, what am I going to do? I'm lost, I'm in trouble. What am I going to do? So it wasn't surprising that something else bad happened. Isn't that interesting, I mused. The realizations didn't end there. I saw that I tell myself negative stories about myself, and I don't recognize that situations have changed, and so have I. I continue to tell myself that I don't have certain positive qualities because of past events I experienced. For example, while doing EFT tapping, I realized that I believed I'm not powerful enough because as a kid and teen, I was never listened to by the adults around me. I just had to do what they told me. And here's the main point. We breathe a kind of radioactive half-life into our past experiences by remembering them and reliving how awful they were. These events are dead. They're gone. They no longer exist. But we breathe life into them, effectively creating zombie memories, phantom memories, which we use to haunt and frighten ourselves. Back to my revelatory dream. The qualities I tell myself I don't have are already inside me, just like I was already inside my car. My circumstances changed, but I hadn't let go of the old frightened energy. So the new circumstances then became something frightening. Even when awake last night, I couldn't grasp that I had found my car. It's an interesting Freudian slip that I keep wanting to type car as care. And the thing about having difficulty finding the right key to start the car, my system was flooded with fear and foreboding. I had a troubled mind, the exact opposite of a calm and clear mind. No wonder I couldn't sort through my keys successfully. And the stuff that filled the car that I wasn't thrilled about, but I kind of accepted, I wasn't too sure about the meaning of that until I did my Buddhist practice of chanting that morning. That shapeless, amorphous stuff that left me little room inside my car, life, was my own negative conclusions and judgments about myself based on old bad memories and stories. Of course.
Thank you, Alexandra. Our dreams are such potent and powerful sources for us to express something that expresses something and also is a way for us to grow and develop psychically. Yes, I'll be sharing a painting that came out of a dream later. So yeah, thank you. And where's Kate? There you are.
Yes, I'm here. Hi.
Hi, Kate. So Kate Rogers is a beautiful poet. I've known you not that long. I don't think, maybe 3 or 4 years.
Yep.
You were still in Hong Kong. And of course, I will call it the overthrow of Hong Kong because it's ongoing.
Yep.
Has been a terrible to witness. But you witnessed it firsthand because you taught in Hong Kong for 20 years. So yeah, kind of a political poet, a nature poet, poet of health, of love, many things. Welcome, Kate.
It's there, and I think it looks good. I think it's a high resolution image, and the artist. This is actually a photograph, not a painting, but I think it's a very striking image. It's called The End of the Road 4 by Joanne Schenfeld. And I believe she is in the audience.
She is.
Yeah. So hi, Joanne.
Hi, I'm here, but I'm trying to see everybody else, but I'm not being successful. But anyway, I don't know if you can see me. I'm here.
Okay, correct. Okay. So the witch in this poem is Baba Yaga. And as you will learn, she has an important role in my life. And anyway, The Tangled Forest. After the photograph, The End of the Road 4 by Joanne Schenfeld. This summer at my mother's backwoods home, rain silvers the windows, blurs the trees. To amuse her, I invent new adventures for mother's favorite witch, Baba Yaga, her nickname too. A farmer tethers his daughter to his shadow. Baba Yaga appears. Her advice, eat the rope. The witch transforms a maiden's bucket into a sieve. The girl returns to the well 3 times, arrives home bucket empty 3 times before she understands. During lunch, mother tells my husband, who isn't there, "You are so funny, Tade." Really? She speaks more Ukrainian now than she has in 50 years. Nosta troshka ye, almost done, she tells me as she shreds her crusts. Then she lapses into sleep, head lolling on her bony rocker, mouth a dark, cobwebby chasm. The seat is too low. Mother can't get up. Has lightning flashed through the forest of her mind? She smacks my hands away. No, no, no. Squeezes her eyelids closed. I reach into my sluggish heart for my most crimson kindness. Mom, 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 I urge, my words padding like rain through the snarled ganglia of her mind, its dying embers of devil's paintbrush, the lingering scent of lemon thyme from her overgrown garden. Her moss green eyes meet mine. I remind her to circle my waist. I plant my feet, grasp her arms above the elbows, and lift her upright. Pause until she stops swaying like the maple with so many dead branches in the wind. I hold out her cane, watch her teeter to her room for another nap. She will not walk her lane, even between showers. Her memory, the maiden's sieve, she's forgotten the way home from the neighbor's house. Sometimes I feel trapped in the tangled forest of her brain. The yellow birch, rain-polished rose gold bark, broken in a storm, droops across her lane. I can't duck under its hanging sodden crown. Its rough green cloths scour my face. At the crossroads, the fallen cherry tree. Boots caked with mud, my legs weigh too much. I am too tired to climb over today. Thank you.
Wow, Kate, that's an incredibly rich and complex poem.
Thank you.
Whew. And very deeply emotional. I think it's amazing how you interwove, Russian fairy tale Baba Yaga with this story, this unfolding story. And the image was amazing. Perfect. So did you in part write with it in mind?
Well, I responded to it, but I also, of course, simultaneously, I was responding to being my mother's caretaker for the second summer in a row. And there was torrential rain up near her place, near Algonquin, for much of the summer. So this image, I sat with the image for probably 2 or 3 weeks before it just started to come to me, with, the whole atmosphere of telling my mother Baba Yaga stories. Baba Yaga is just as important to Ukrainians and many other Eastern Europeans, not only Russians. So it all came together, and the image was there the whole time, percolating.
Yeah, thank you, Joanne. It's amazing work.
Yeah, really.
Thank you. It was wonderful to hear Kate read it at the other reception where it was presented, the photo reception. Kate Marshall read it. It was wonderful, but it was really great to get your feel for it. And I love how you I feel like you went underneath it or something. Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, I agree. Joanne Shenfield is a photographer and artist. So,
I don't know if I'd say photographer, more of an artist, but using photographic images
that's right. That's what I heard. Okay. So, okay. Well, thank you both. Thank you. Now we're going to mute all, and just keep your mics off. We've got our first feature, who is beautiful Jennifer Hosein, and I'm going to read her bio. Jennifer Hosein is a Toronto writer, visual artist, and educator. Her debut collection of poetry, A Map of Rain Days, published by Guernica Editions in September 2020, was longlisted for the League of Canadian Poets 2021 Pat Lowther Memorial Award. Her poems, short fiction, creative nonfiction, and a play have been published in magazines in Canada, as well as translated into Hungarian. Her artwork has appeared on book covers, in magazines, and in solo and group exhibitions in Toronto. It is also featured on the cover of A Map of Rain Days. And you're going to absolutely love Jennifer's presentation. So welcome, Jennifer.
Thank you, Brenda. Thank you, everyone. Wow, I'm just going to dive right in here. And I'm really excited to be reading and sharing art with you tonight. And I'm very excited to hear Brenda's and see her video, and to hear the open mic poems. So it's going to be fun. I didn't sleep much last night, so just nudge me if I disappear. So I'm going to share a video of my art while I read. The paintings and drawings are intrinsically connected to my poems. And most of the poems that I'm reading tonight are in my book, A Map of Rain Days. But I will end with some newer work. So just I'm going to get the video going. Just give me 1 second here. Okay, can you see the video now? Yeah. Can you guys see the video? Yeah, okay, good. All right. I'm going to begin with some poems about my mother. So we got a theme going on. Following heart surgery, my mother had a stroke that rendered her childlike. The first poem is Heart. My mother's heart begins to drift away, but we are selfish and tell her to let them fix it, and we pace and pace the days. Don't tell her, it's a poor sign, aortic valves open and close, that keeps her herself until she is not herself. Voice crooked, face fallen, buttons askew, and pants half on the floor. I cannot begin. Beloved mother is a clipped-winged bird that floats around in lace-edged nightgowns. soft, soft skin like a schoolgirl's, shooing away the cats and always packing her clothes to go home. Okay, I forgot to start the video, so I'm just going to let it catch up. Just give me a second here. Okay. A map of rain days. I am bent by the way that these things go, put my face in my hands and pull the skin taut across miles and miles. Walk down the corridors in my mother's bruised shoes. My mother's toes are crooked and curled in a misguided, arthritic map of rain days. I just got a little behind on the video, so I'm just going to let it catch up, and then everything will be smooth from there. After my mother passed away and my mother moved to Los Angeles a few days later, I was devastated and alone. For the next poem, I borrowed from the story of the goddess of the harvest, Demeter, who, when her daughter was taken by Hades to the underworld, turned the world to winter in her despair. In the poem, I am both Demeter and Persephone. Winter. I am Demeter, in winter black as Hades, turning fields to stone, forests to dust, in my wrath and despair that my beloved is gone. I pick rocks from the side of the road to eat in the absence of corn. They thunder along my intestines, dulling the noise in my head. I scream inside the walls of February, wait for my beloved who is light, breath, sun, spring. Make love to boys I have turned to bones in this drought I have brought. I am Persephone, bound beneath the light, longing for the tick of my mother's heart, the pad of her yellowed feet on the floor. But my winter will linger for years, and my mother will tread across the skies, her feet into mountains, her face yellow as the sun, peering down at the shadow I have become. Demeter is my mother, Persephone my daughter. I am neither, I am all, I am only winter. Breath. Our breath sits heavy on the dashboard. Mother floats around the car with the snow. Our boots crunch and slide across new graves, and Uncle says, she is here. No, she is here, blowing his vodka breath into the sky. Conductor. Take my hand tonight on the snow-white tracks of my dreams. Be my night conductor and steer me from the monsters that throw me up against the walls of this boxcar life. Later that year, my daughter married in Los Angeles. The poem is called Wedding Day. It's for Natasha. You are the princess beneath my pillow. I am the pea that sways in the corners of your night. You are my map of the city. Every place is only meaningful in the way that you were there with me. This is the airport that you are leaving me from. This is the road that takes me away from you. When you leave, you take the light away. I wait for your whisper. Hold tight to your pillow. Hold tight to the pillow that you laid your head upon, as if it were love itself. I pull stitches out of your discarded dresses, unraveling the years between us. Then I begin to sew your wedding dress. Tree lights string me across the desert, my feet parched with longing. Across the universe in a sun-bleached room, I lay the snow-white dress on the bed. Today is your wedding day. You tug at the hem of your dress, dip your white heels into the grass. In the Hollywood afternoon, you are breathtakingly happy. In the morning, I have to return to my life without you. I press my tears to the door of your hotel room to feel your breath. When I look for you in mirrors, you shine behind my eyes. Sometimes you whisper to me to wrap you tight in the star-punched night. The next poem is from Marsha, Window. She rolled through sky like butter Night effervescent with the glow that spit out of her, embers turning into stars in the sky that could not love her the way she or anybody needed. But you loved her, gave her walls to keep her safe, food to buy her time. But the walls bent, as if your sins had chewed furiously at them, multi-legged termite ghosts through days and days. And what did she see when she stepped into sky and dreams and dusk that sounded like city squalor banging prayers in her head? And how can you sleep in your bed by the window that I, in another spring, leaned out of to watch the schoolboys below? Just gonna pause for a second. Okay. I was born in Montreal, where I spent most of my childhood, but I never felt a sense of belonging. Always, where are you from? Or go back to your country. Well, Canada is my country, but it does not always welcome me. The next poem is called Mon Pays, which is French for my country, inspired by the adopted Québécois anthem by Gilles Villeneuve. Mon Pays. My country is an ice storm, trees bent to the devil, and smelly damp boots. On the bus, our noses are the same matching red, toques pulled low over foggy, crisp breath, holes in our glove thumbs, yet he scowls and says, go home, go back to your country, where you came from. So I tell him, yes, I'll go back, to the foot of Mount Royal, to the unconditional arms of my mother wrapped around me and my smelly boots. I tell him, my mother's black coat against the winter white paysage is always and only home, and he should be so lucky. Okay, actually, move that down there. Okay, that next poem. My aunt and uncle moved to Sudbury a few years back. My aunt is a second mother to me. The poem is called Exile, Canadian Shield. In the city, I cannot stop. In the Canadian Shield, there is stillness, windows and sky. Auntie cannot bear to live in this faraway place while uncle is thinning out of the living world. They hide in the basement as if they are hidden in rock and snow. Auntie moved into the bedroom when I was 2. She slipped the fear out of the night when she entered the room. On her wedding day, I danced in the front yard, drunk on cheap something, stomping snow, marveling at the moon and the whoosh in my head. I see their footprints getting smaller in the snow, but it is summer and the rain has birthed a fog of mosquitoes. The next 2 poems were written on Manitoulin Island, about 2 hours from Sudbury. It's the largest freshwater island in the world. Rain on the Island. Rain on the island erases the fences we put up on the landscapes we have become. Tributaries of loss and shadows of longing are mapped on our torsos until we are crisscrossed and unrecognizable. Against the impending storm, farmers have wrapped their bales in a funereal white that shimmers like water on the lake. Espanola. Long trucks are full of skeletons at dusk, and the sun is a vermilion afterthought, the sky bent into grids of power lines, while lonesome birds line up at the gate to heaven, just 49 kilometers from Espanola. The next poem is called Ink. In the mornings, my fingers were stained the color of the ink that I used to write you into my dreams. Sometimes you were black ink handprints along the walls. All the colors that I used to paint you were propped up around my life, blocking the real and putting into its place a semblance of you. By the spring, I had so many canvases that you began to appear as a man, breathing and soft-mouthed, reclining on my bed. I could not tell real from writing, skin from paint. Well, that one's going fast. Okay. Next poem is called Fall. The leaves have fallen from their hosts the way I fell from you. Once you were air, then you were cinders that I spat up now and then. Spark. How I loved you as I flew across the metropolis to fall at your door, turn the key, creep into your bed. I rubbed the sleep from your eyes, you turned me to the wall. That's how we loved through the winter and spring, before you lost your home. So I took you in, and you took me over the way a spark consumes a forest, turned me to ash that stuck to the soles of your feet during your tirades and blackouts, spattered your fabulous dinners across the kitchen walls, banged on the bedroom door while your son pleaded, Daddy, please. Leap day. Leap day is snow blowing across your eyelids when you finally sleep like a dead man at 8 in the morning. The telephone begins ringing at 10, but you hear only the snow falling. The wind blows a storm through your eyes. The sky sits behind the clouds, and a storm blows through again. For a few hours, I can live in the solace of your sadness because you can see who I am in the moments you are still. But I am always anticipating the moment you throw your limbs around the room, scattering your shattered soul, throwing your ugliest voice at me. When your words knock me to the floor, I pick up the pieces and walk away. You watch the hours drop like days through the night, walk in circles until nothing, just snow and the dream of beer. So up again, to pull a bottle from under the sink, like a magician pulling a rabbit from a hat. Beer is your bed, your bread, your fish, your salvation. Romance. I tell you, I am not a romantic. You say, I like to speak of the stars. The stars fell. The romance has been chewed out of me, kisses carved away, so many things in and out of me that I cannot tell my skin from the floor or the chill night air. Voice. I attempt to trace your tangled voice in the black air with the sandpaper lips of my fingers, but my fingertips are just garbled whispers. Crow's feet. Inked on my face are shadows that you left behind, imprints of your lover's hand slapped across my face, tugging at my crow's feet in the morning. History. Look at me on his bed. History will not untie me. His story, always his story, someone's his story. His cock dances around me, his cock like a beacon, a game of sticks. I tire of the ins and out of me, my beauty laid flat on the bed for his story to unwind the night, the morning, the clothes from my back. I am just undressed. No lace, no red, no perfume, just my skin is me. Break. The next poem is Break. Measure us in food and skin, blood on the onions, bruises on our limbs. I watch you with eyes planted on the ceiling, in a corner, beneath the bed. You have bayonets for hands that bend and break the night. Okay, another love poem. I love you. I love you, he said. You are my heart. I'll cut your tongue out so you can't speak like that anymore. I'll cut your feet off and I'll carry you around when I want. I'll cut your hands off so you can't touch another man's face the way you touch mine. Will you cut my cunt out, she asked, so I can't fuck another man or even myself? I'll cut it out and I'll keep it in a locked drawer. I'll take it out when I need to and place it in the space between your legs. Or maybe, if I'm angry, I'll take it into another room, put it around my cock and thrash around some. I'll cut your breasts off so no man can look at them. Then you can wear what you like. What will you leave me, she asked. I'll leave you my right hand to hold when you're alone, and I'll leave you my heart. Just going to pull this one a little bit back. Oh. It's a little tricky getting the timing of this video going. Okay. King of the Night. This is a bit more of a Halloween-y poem. Like you, he chose me from afar. I had only seen a blurred face, a speeding car, but I knew his eyes that followed me, silver slits opening the sky. Red is the color of the night when he comes, when I twist and run, and when I see his silver slit eyes breaking through the alleyways, I tear away, and when I am safe behind locked doors, I turn around to find him. In his hands, he holds all of me. Travels. The sky gives off the sweet odor of chocolate. I am bathed in a downpour of Nestle chocolate and still thinking of you. I cannot erase the years or your voice from my answering machine. You surround me. From the window of the Don Mills 25 bus, the valley opens up like a womb in the rain. I carry you around in the hollow of my chest. Beneath my ribs, you dig tunnels, hundreds of tunnels, and you won't leave. For every step forward, I take 2 steps back, always towards you. No one knows why I stay, why you're back. You make a mask for your face with your brittle anger. If I walked off this bus onto the frozen field, the field would become a lake, its crisp, translucent surface cracking and drawing me in. The bleak caress of snow, your cool hands in a circle around my neck. The apartment is as cold as frozen fields. My limbs sculpt snow angels in the sheets. You bring ice into the room. Poison drunk. Pools of blood scar the smooth surface of the floor. I weave spaces through the walls with my ugly wrist, watch the shadows darken, listen for the jingle jangle of keys at the door, train my eyes to catch the movement of poison-drunk cockroaches on the walls. Not the flicker of light from headlights, not my own shadow bending in slow motion. Words separate me from you. You say, believe me, it won't hurt. I never believe you. I sit up, awaiting betrayal. Okay, so much for the love poems. I'm gonna switch it up a little bit now. Next poem is called A Widow. Let me just back it up a teeny bit. I was trying to do the timings last night, so that's why I didn't get any sleep. Okay, widow. I did not want a husband. I wanted a tree, a forest, black-winged crow, black night and blue earth, a bed of rocks. I wanted an ancient man-boy, salt-eyed and ragged. I wanted fingertips for eyes. But now I am old, a faithless widow, soft boys filling the spaces that rain cannot. After the fire at the asylum, only the burnt-out shell was left. The windows were barred, and from between the cold iron bars came wailing and weeping, centuries old. The broken feet of women dragged across the wooden beams. The men's shaved heads were cool and dry. Okay. I'm just going to pause for a little drink here. I'm going to read some poems about my terrible teenage years. My family moved to Scarborough when I was 12 years old, and there weren't many people who looked like me then there. So let me get this. Oh. Wrapped. The promise of youth, flush with excitement, live on the edge of suicide. You have no vision of the carcass of youth that lies ahead, the swill and gore of it, but you lock your bedroom door and sit wrapped on the bed, holding grief in your palms. The next poem is 1977. 1. Blend into trees and sky in brown skin. Stay tight to tree bark. Hold your breath between the crisp steps of teenagers slipping past in a cloud. Shed the cloak of trees. Veer towards home where your thick socks shuffle on the parquet floor. 2, school is black terror, so you walk into books like Alice, blue jeans and tight skin, hallucinogens and hatred spun in webs through the hallowed halls. 3, you walk a thin gauntlet alone. Okay, streets. The mean streets of the suburbs when I was 15 were as ugly as sin to me, and I was as ugly as the mythical monster, the brown-hued devil that lived beneath the bridge. Sticks and stones broke all of me as the townspeople called to arms, spit and rocks and fists. They fanned away from the dark shadow that spilled out of me like blood. So I ate only apples and turned to bones, and my hair gleamed and my eyes were hollow as I crawled through the halls of the high school, hid in the bathroom stall, slid home quick through the afternoon, died in the night. Okay, we're getting towards the end here. And the next few pieces I'm going to read are not in A Map of Rain Days. And the first piece is a short story. Safe house. Everyone needs a safe house. There are fleeting thoughts, fist and fingernails, black and blue. My daughter's toes slipping out from beneath the Mexican blanket, her small hand curled in mine, sleeping angel's face and just washed spun silk hair. These are the things that stay with me. How many times did she wait in the next room, suspended in the thin comfort of her tiny dolls? All the things I took her through. My mother used to say to me, "I'll give you something to cry about." Sometimes I peer into the windows of the places we lived in then, wondering at the lives that are lived there now. When I was a child, stairs led from our narrow dining room to a cavernous cellar. It was black and damp. My father killed a rat there. He buried it in the backyard beneath my bedroom window. Every night, I waited for my aunt to come to bed, to turn her face to the wall on the other side of my bedroom. Only then was I safe. I have never liked to sleep alone. I've often made the mistake of settling on someone to help me pass the nights. My mother said I carried too much anger with me. That was the reason I failed with men. She did not ask why I was angry or if the men were angry. But it's okay for men, isn't it? No one wants to hear. They wonder why I stayed. I didn't. I left, and he followed, pounded on my door, turned up at my job, followed me on the street until I tired of being afraid of the shadows and let him back in, the devil you know. They thought I was weak, but I was not. Tonight, someone is banging on a wall, blows that run through concrete and steel all the way up to the 20th floor where I am taught, poised to run. My bones drift towards breaking, but there are no bruises to hide beneath shirt sleeves, no fictions to tell about bathtubs and door jambs. This time there's a safe house and a good man. Thanks. I'm just going to pause. I'm almost done here. I think I got 3 short little new pieces. And I've got to run through the video. The video is timed. Here we go. Okay. 6 a.m. in a pandemic. The clock thrumming 6 a.m., windows masked with a night's thick frost waning, men sleep buried in the garage between slick, shiny cars and their own frigid feces in the cold, blackened pandemic. Silence wraps the lake, and I throw limbs across a decade into the apartment on Treewood Street. Amid crumpled newspaper nests, curdling dishes, boots spread all over like berry jam. Where she settles on green velvet before her last slumbers, in bleached rooms where she speaks in wisps that don't convert to any mother tongue, but my own mother's tongue, thick with the nights we breathed into her fading breaths. Okay, just a couple more. Country. On a Friday night in the pandemic, you spin me around to Wichita lineman, and I think, country? though I've always sheltered in the houses of pale men, wrapped my skin in their broad or skinny arms, tucked my coffee into the crooks of their cool white haven. I've dimmed the lights and the night is a blank slate, but you don't know my country that hangs from a thread behind a door, behind the smell my mother kneaded into the evenings that shifted on my skin like damnation. My aunt played country on the stereo, our silhouettes cavorting in the afternoons while her own lineman beau came around, tobacco teasing the day. One tiny little piece to go, silenced. I am silenced by ugly deeds, dense hands that stretch like sinew across a face, by tongues, their loudness and chatter, by nights I hold between my breaths, my tongue tied into paper cuts, skin woven into night, hands into parchment. Thank you so much for listening. Stop the share. I have to find the share button, though I've lost it. Ah. Oh, there it is, up there. Okay, I couldn't find it. Oh, I'm tired. Thank you.
That was amazing, Jennifer. It just
My
so
timing
moving.
Off. I was trying to get the art time to the words, but the word timing of my words keeps changing.
It was incredibly moving. Your art is, I don't know, it just touches something deep within. So beautifully done video and reading. I'd love you to make a film. You know, it's really gorgeous. Maybe I should unmute. Can I unmute everybody?
Sure.
Yeah. How?
No, I don't think you can. They have to unmute
No.
themselves.
You can unmute, and if you want to, for 5 minutes before. We're running a bit late. Maybe we take a 5-minute break.
Okay.
How about that? And come back at, I guess, 8 o'clock, and I'll be starting.
Okay. You
So
guys
if you want to unmute yourself for 5 minutes, that's cool.
I think we're all probably.
Thank you, Jennifer and Alexandra and Kate. Amazing, amazing presentations, so moving. Really, so many intimacies and a willingness to share and open up. It's
no secrets here tonight, right?
Well, it's the kind of work that that touches a very deep place.
Thank you.
It's amazing to see your artwork, your paintings and drawings up close like that and slow while you read. It's just incredible.
Yeah. It's incredible. The alongside, the juxtaposition is very powerful.
It really is, yeah.
Thanks. Well, I'm excited to see your video. Brenda, I'm just gonna excuse me for a minute. I'm gonna run off.
I am too. Yeah. I gotta step away for 1 second.
Yep. Hi, Brandon.
Hey, how's it going?
Good.
Good to see you.
Yeah, good to see you. Yeah. How are you doing?
Oh, I'm excellent. Thanks. Very good.
Yeah.
Really nice.
Yeah, great.
Yeah. So how are you doing?
I'm doing fine. I've just been incredibly busy the last couple of months. Which I think is good, but it's the nights where you're getting 3 to 5 hours sleep because you're so busy. They're hard.
That's pretty busy.
Yeah. Yeah. So. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm on a different schedule. This is landed during my lunch time. No.
Really?
Yeah, totally.
What you having for lunch?
I was eating it while Jen was reading. I had a Caribbean soup, you know, in her honor.
Thank you. I'll have mine now.
Oh, yeah, we'll have to make it for you, but I'm not as good a cook as Dwayne, so.
Hey, Jennifer, that was incredible. Wow. Thank you so much for doing that and sharing your beautiful artwork. Wow. Yeah.
It's more exciting than just watching me sitting here with my droopy eyes. Right?
It really makes a difference to a reading.
Yeah.
I think to have that visual element, because we can also see you plus
Once,
the
but just
video.
a little me. I like just the little, right? Because it
Little
doesn't
me.
matter if you didn't
Yeah.
sleep, right? Because I'm just little. Yeah, I love that. I love that.
Well, it might give some of the other people, although mostly very few are here, ideas on how to present their work on Zoom. You know, really.
It's an amazing combination of images and words, Jennifer. I'm still processing. I'm still kind of going through it again in my mind.
Oh, thank you. That's good.
Yeah.
I guess maybe not. But,
No, it is. It's good. It's good. Yeah, I think I've told you before. I really love your work, your poetry, but I also really love your images, your visual images, because I had not seen them together with your words before, and I hadn't seen them at all really in any detail, except in your book.
Aw.
Yeah, but it was great to see a lot more of them.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Tell me one thing, Jennifer, do you, when you, your paintings or your art, the idea is clear in your mind, or you just take a blank canvas?
Sometimes, occasionally I draw out the idea, but usually not.
Mostly it's your subconscious.
Probably this much, yes, and then this much.
Yeah.
No, it just
Yeah.
whatever happens. But occasionally that happens. Occasionally I do a poem to go with a drawing, or usually a drawing to go with a poem sometimes, but usually it's just kind of like, not planned out.
So mostly it's spontaneous, like, because it looks very, very spontaneous, your art, and it's absolutely coming right from your subconscious brain. Maybe you're not even conscious of what you're doing at that time. Are you?
No, usually not. No, usually not.
They're very powerful images.
Thank you.
Most of them very strong.
Okay, thank you so much. And now for some more powerful images, we're going to. Are we ready to start?
We're going to mute everybody.
Okay, shall I do it?
I just tried. It's not working. Oh yes, here we go.
Okay, so everybody's back. All right, so we're gonna get onto the next part. Thank you. It's a great pleasure to present my dear friend, brilliant artist and author, and host and organizer of Minstrels and Bards, Brenda Clews. Give a pause there. Brenda is an African-born Canadian multimedia poet, painter, video poet, and photographer. Author of 2 books, Tidal Fury, Guernica Editions 2016, and Fugue in Green, Quattro Books 2017. She's also an artist with solo and group shows. She hosts Minstrels and Bards, a soiree at the Transact Club in Toronto, and her website is brendaclews.com. Well, welcome, Brenda. We're so excited.
Thank you, Jennifer. That's my 56-word bio. So I have video to show. So the first video is called Mirror Portraits. And Jennifer I don't know if you even remember suggesting that maybe I could do some of the self-portraits. So I went through, I belong to a Facebook group called Self-Portrait Sundays. As it's a group of fabulously talented artists. Well, there's an entire range. You only post on Sunday, and you can only work from a reflective surface. So no photographs at all. And I mean, I go through a range. So what I'm going to show, I think, are 14 images spread over, I guess it's 2 or 3 years. I might do a couple a year. And I've certainly gone through a process of deeper self-acceptance, because doing a self-portrait, you're painting, you're staring at yourself 5 or 6 hours, and you know that is hell. It is like awful. So I think when I started, the portraits were awful. I wanted to show, I don't know. And as the, I usually do some every summer. This year I noticed that I wasn't into the aesthetic of ugliness quite so much, and something else was coming in, something more joyful. And so I think even as I'm on the cusp of my 7th decade, I don't mind how I look or anything like that, but there is always a continual process of self-acceptance of the body, of our visceral, fleshy self. So, okay, so where's share screen here? There it is. Okay, I'm gonna have to go get my hard drive with the actual movie on it, because it doesn't seem to be where it's supposed to be. Technology.
We all do it, right? We all do this.
Yeah. We were happy to see that one, back. Brenda. It was great.
Yeah. You know what? It's only 3 minutes. I'm going to play it again with the new ones, but I have to get the hard drive with the original track. I don't know where it went.
Okay. It was awesome. So
it was the right one.
You're not listening.
I don't think we feel it cheated at all.
No.
I like it because Brenda's the most technologically advanced poet I know, and she makes mistakes like this, My mistakes are at a much lower level.
Sure.
There's mistakes.
Hi, Mary Lou.
There's mistakes, and then there's mistakes. Mm-hmm. Brenda's mistakes are wonderful. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, hello everyone.
Hi there, Kate.
Hi, Kate.
Hi, Kate.
Thank you for your reading. Kate, I think I've heard and seen that poem before. Did you perform it online? Did you perform it at the art bar?
No, it's relatively new. I wrote it in the summer, and I don't know if Gwen Schenfeld is still here, who created the beautiful image that inspired it, or that certainly contributed to it. I've been writing Baba Yaga poems for a while, though, and I'm working on a book of creative nonfiction and poetry about my mother. So maybe you heard a Baba Yaga poem, Elana.
Yes, because I thought, am I just imagining this? It's like it was like a deja vu. Like I've heard this, I know this poem, but it might have been another Baba Yaga poem that you wrote.
Yeah, I have one called Baba Yaga's Child that I've read and that I've edited a number of times over the years, and that I have read at Art Bar. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyway, hi Elana, how are things with you?
Well, the nice thing is that I got a box of new books today. I have a new book out, and the box came in the mail, and so that's always it's nerve-wracking and exciting, both at the same time.
Yeah.
Can you show us the cover of your book?
Yes, I can show you the cover right now. The cover art is my own. I don't know how it's going to come across on here though. Can you, I don't know if you can, oh, you know why you can't, I have to take off my,
It's your background that's the issue. Yeah.
yeah, my background is preventing you from seeing it. Let me get rid of the virtual. It's just that I'm sitting in a weird place, so I. Okay.
We will look. Oh, wait a minute.
I'm sitting in front of the window. I don't know. Can you see it?
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah. I don't know what it is about my screen. Everything looks very dull on my screen. I think I think I have to change my settings.
No, it looks beautiful. You can see the colors and shape taking. That's a great
shape taking. Yeah. So you can see the text is at the top because I didn't want it to obstruct the painting. But yeah, I definitely have to change my my settings. Do I also look dull?
No, you look sharp. Maybe you need to clean your monitor.
Yeah, or maybe it's my glasses.
That could be.
Okay, I'm going to put my virtual back on now. Okay.
And I think Mary Lou. Hi, Mary Lou.
Hi there. Hi, Kate.
Hi, Mary Lou. Nice to see you.
Hi, Elana. I gather I miss seeing a very beautiful video.
You've also missed Jennifer Hosein, who
oh, I'm sorry,
read
Jennifer.
us.
I knew I had to be.
Jennifer was amazing.
Yeah.
Okay, everybody, I found the video. It's 18 minutes long, and I'll be doing a little bit of reading in there. So I'm going to be taking about 20 minutes. And I hate to do this to you, but we're going to start at the beginning because I was painting till 4 o'clock. Like, I want it in there, not the old version. So you'll see the mirror portraits again, but it's only 3 minutes. And then, okay, if you forgive me, yikes. I think of you in shades of dusk and green, stain with imprimatura, there, like that, blood oozing from bone, pick claret, cold blood rivering to the heart, pick cobalt. If the body is duffel with mustard seeds, sienna, punctured cadmium yellow yolk, lime wash of lapis, rosewood, black almond shell, copper chromium. Paint, linseed oiled skin, bone edge nose, jugular hollow where the neck grows, bladed locks of sinewy strokes. Palette scumbled, shingling fossil, sand blue, heather, ash rose, derma, a visage of angular, irregular, mob of tawny icebergs jutting jigsaw. Swallowing light, flesh rises. To keep you away, I splash air, rain, turpentine. Reflections. Sit before a mirror, draw. A face emerges in a struggle for likeness. Cadences, a journey of learning. Glimpses, a mirror, window, photo, fleeting through rooms, streets, buildings. Now, stare unendingly at yourself all day. Linear lines, shapes, pencils, paints, water, terps, brushes. Such a sustained gaze at the self, unbearable. She's somebody else for those hours. She doesn't look like me. strength and beauty of women, smudges and shadows she's made of. Quantum entangling. 1, cleaved stars in different life drawing sessions, ineffable desire across time, space. How often do we feel nuance, innuendo, heat, burnished, glistened skin, his gaze on her receiving? 2, pencil curves, head, trunk, groin, arouse, legs, arms lounge, her lips invite, eyelash coquetry, elbow on knee, rock mountain, Sisyphus's moment, that still point, rising, hold, falling. They float, geometries of body in white paper spaces, amor eterno. In classical style, maroon plums, feather fall, crabapple blossoms. Her back hands plie, twisting pillar of grace. Garden flame beads spiral. Angel trumpets, pendulous cream, yellow, peach, sherbet orange, candy floss pink, deadly beauty. Rose campions and petunias, frou-frou petal horns. Azaleas burst, bloom, open as orgasms, falling dust. She arcs, cambre, curves, crescentric, arondi. And the next piece are two, a charcoal drawing and a painting I did for a Jungian course I took called Art and Individuation. And I had a dream where alchemical wheels emerged in my cheeks. So you'll see that drawing. And then we were to meditate on our symbol, which for me was alchemical wheels. And these things happened, and I somehow followed the spiral path back to a near-death experience I had when I was 28. I'd have to call it that because I did a lot of research and watching people on YouTube and what I experienced. Yeah, so I'm just going to read that experience and the whole process of the video moves towards this this moment. Carl Jung in Alchemy and Psychology writes, the ultimate aim of alchemy was trying to produce a corpus subtile, a corpus subtle, a transfigured and resurrected body, i.e. a body that was at the same time spirit. And I really think that when our spirit and our physical being become in synchronized, that would be the alchemical gold. And I did find that the art process of working through the two, the dream and then back to this experience was like an alchemical process in itself. So the near-death experience, I was 28, radiant energy appeared. A startling and powerful love had come for me. How powerful this love was is indescribable. It's the greatest love I have ever felt, complete and full. I drew upwards, rising from my body, leaving it on the bed below. And I felt only ecstasy, the wave of my form nearing the radiant healing energy, like entering the great union or heaven or nirvana. As I rose, I thought, but my father's grief, the life I'm to live, and immediately fell back gently into my body, and the radiance vanished. And this is an 18-minute silent video. It's a silent poem. So there's only music and images. It's a wordless poem. I hope you enjoy it.
Wow. I could watch that 100 times, Brenda. It's so mesmerizing.
Yeah, it didn't. I tried adding words. I had words written and I tried just, and it moves like a poem, the way I repeat images and have progression with those images as it moves on. I did leave the scraping and peeling section quite long because that's the visceral. That's the messiness of life, the messiness of art, and also just breaking the shell, emerging from the cocoon, the sense of rebirth.
The birthing.
Birth, yeah, rebirth, birthing. Yes, yes. Anyway, thank you.
Amazing, amazing.
As a non-artist, I was just totally fascinated about how you peeled away the layers and you went deeper and deeper. And then you had this light kind of toward the end that was kind of caressing the parts of your body, and how the wheels of creation in your head were moving. And I loved it when all the stars burst from you, and then you became part of the larger cosmos. Boy, I'd kill for one of those near-death experiences myself.
Well, you may well have one, Donna, at some point, right?
Yeah.
I mean, we all will really have our near, but we may not come back to talk about it.
Yeah. It didn't feel scary, Brenda. It felt wondrous.
It
really
was.
wondrous.
It actually was. I mean, it was a regret all my life that I didn't trust more, and that I was attached to my life, and I didn't think I was going to die, but I thought I might have learned a lot, and it might have changed the path of my life. But who knows? Maybe what happened, and it had its effect. So yeah.
Beautiful.
That the sounds of tearing and sharing are still like, they're very strong, very powerful.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I find it actually, when I rewatch it, I find that section gets harder and harder for me, because it gets me right under the skin somehow to see that process. But it's definitely an important part of the process,
and the peeling. Oh,
yeah.
And the suctioning, and the stitching.
Yeah. And then, you end up with a visionary experience, but maybe you do have to take off the masks and, peel off the defense mechanisms and all the hurts and pain and things that you've experienced. You've got to let that go and find the child. Children are so trusting and loving and generous. And that's how we all start out. And that's almost like an original self. So something about taking off all those years of experience and disappointments and times when you were hurt, Yeah, so for me, that's all in there, in the scraping and peeling.
It's a great piece. It's a wonderful piece of work.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're able to share your process so people feel some of what you are experiencing. It's you can.
Well, I've been very influenced by your video, Jennifer, I have to say. It just kind of opened the possibilities of what you can do with your art and with your writing, except when you do a piece that you don't need any writing for. I guess it happens. But I did want to read the little introduction, because it was a very important part of the process for me. Anyway, we should move on. And Jennifer, you're going to be introducing all of the wonderful poets who are going to be sharing a few poems with us.
Surprise.
No.
That's what if you want me to.
I thought I was going to do the last few. I'm not. I just have to say I'm not quite as great an introducer as
okay, so I'll because I'm going to be sharing screen for Alana, so I will introduce Meena and then Alana. Okay, and then
Donna's first.
Oh, sorry, Donna. Yeah, you know what? I don't have a break here. Donna, Meena, and then you have Allan. You have the four men.
And then Allan and John and Norman Cristofoli.
Well, I mean, I've got the three women.
Okay.
And you have the four men, I mean.
Okay.
Okay. So let's mute everybody again. And Donna Langevin is just one of the most beautiful people I've ever known, and a fabulous poet, and known her a few years, probably as long as I've known Kate. And I just I met them kind of both together. I think I love them both. So I'm very happy that both Kate and Donna are reading, and Donna's going to share a couple of poems. So go ahead, Donna.
Hello, everybody. Welcome. Thank you to Brenda and to Jennifer for inviting me to this marvelous event. True confession, I'm not a painter or any kind of visual artist or even somebody who clicks a camera very often, but I can't even draw a stick figure, but I absolutely do love looking at paintings, and I so much thank all of you who have put the visual imagery on the screen tonight. And I have to say, there are people here in this roster. I follow your art on Facebook a lot. I really love doing that. So to all of you, and some are photographers like John Oughton, I really do enjoy your work. So anyway, the first poem is Ekphrastic poem, and it's called Why I Wear a Van Gogh T-shirt. His blossoming almond tree branches across my ribs. My torso leans towards its trunk as my sleeved arms burst into bloom. Without being stung, I hum with the bees dipping their tongues into the floral nectaries. I dream of the ripened almonds that will taste of cherries and plums and tempt my taste buds with marzipan, butter, and pesto. Like the best things in life to savor, Van Gogh reminds me these almonds, also known as strown fruit, can be bitter or stolen, whole orchards stripped bare by the crows that will darken the sky when they swoop down to feast. His leaf green eyes changing colors, as does his palette of petals. I believe he was as happy in the orchards at Arles or St. Remy as I was in full bloom at 19 when I first beheld his chef-d'oeuvre in the Guggenheim. Though some patrons insist fine art should only be displayed in galleries and not on shopping bags, long-stemmed umbrellas, or T-shirts, I love this painting enough to exhibit it on my chest, wear it close to my heart, as if I were that tree myself. Okay. Ultrasound scans aren't exactly art, but like photos and paintings, they contain images that must be interpreted. And so in that way, they are, I think, similar. The viewer has a similar experience. My son and his partner are expecting their first baby in March. And these next two poems were born after I looked at the scan. Ultrasound image number 1. Gray clouds, egg white swirls in a nocturnal seascape. I glimpse a black thread attached to a prawn with fawn eyes. My son and his wife call you little creature, imagine you with features, try out baby names. Buoyed by their joy, but with no navel string to bond me, I brim with anxiety. My neck, stiff as blanched coral, worn spinal discs like dead sand dollars. My hands spastic as a newborn's. It's hard enough to take care of myself, let alone help tend you. No longer misled by myths about darling progeny. For years, your 6-foot-tall cousin has nurtured a grudge list and rivals the Sphinx for silence. Little one, I am glad that wand can't scan your future. My only hope, to fall in love at the sight of you, as I did with your father, when I first held him in my arms. Swimmers. Today we are both swimming, you in your mother's womb, me in a pool in Phoenix. Your loch is small and salty, mine chlorinated and lined with Delft blue ceramic tiles. Your lagoon lacks fountains, deck chairs, and shady Palo Verde trees. My Lido has rules. I am forbidden to skinny dip, pee in the water, shove other swimmers, enter with sores or a cold, but I can float under the sky while you drift in murky darkness without moonlight or stars. Little minnow, I prefer my pool with ladders and life preservers as I stroke my last laps in the deep end. Yet I envy you, moored to your mother. My mermaid mom, who loved swimming circles around me, no longer has breath to hold underwater or a body to make waves. Motherless now, with only memories to buoy me. Thanks everybody for listening.
Such precious memories and kind of knowing what's to come, you know, kind of feeling that tiny little being. So they're very celebratory, beautiful poems that sort of connect whole lifetimes. So thank you. Thank you so much, Donna. Such a pleasure having you. Okay, so now we're moving on to Meena, and I don't really know Meena. Pretty much met you tonight for the first time. What a beautiful symbol.
My God, it's but I have been doing it for a long time now.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's as an artist again, I'm also painter, so
yes.
It used to be a dot, traditional dot, which I started playing around, and yeah, it's somewhat like snake.
Yes, but it's
and pundits and priests don't like it.
Oh, is it a tattoo? It's a tattoo.
No, it's not a tattoo. I do it every day.
Oh, okay. It's beautiful. You know, Carl Jung said, follow your snake. And you do.
It's not at all conscious, you know, it's just, I think it's been now almost 30 years since I've been doing it, if not 30. Yeah.
Yeah. But it's Kundalini. I mean, it's Kundalini, right? It's,
rising.
Exactly. And it's earth energy. Yeah, it's fabulous. Okay, well, welcome. And I look forward to your reading.
Thank you so much. And thank you for having me here. And yeah, I think we are connected on Facebook, at least.
We are, but you're most welcome. I'm so happy you came.
So, thank you. So I'm going to read from my book, She, the Restless Streak, which was published in 2018. And this is the book, and which has got my art as well as my poems, and very much influenced by female abstract energy. I think, yeah, so these are the kind of images. Maybe, I don't know, you can, and poetry going next to it. I don't know whether you can see them properly. Yeah. Yeah. Something you can see.
They're beautiful. They're beautiful. Thank you. And we can see them.
That's great. So I will start with since I thought this would be very appropriate because we are into fall. And I have always been mesmerized with the Canadian falls. I migrated, I came to Canada in 2003. And it's been 18 years, and this fall always, I mean, I never saw this fall in India. So it is something very unique and very precious to me. And this poem is influenced by that. And I think nature is somewhat a replica of female abstract energy. So the poem goes like this. The title is She Descends. It's the fall that is descending, actually. Crisp autumn air, splendid bronze, marinated gold, silver, and copper, the entire landscape quilted. She descends, the deepest splendor, the palette, for she has swallowed all the colors, the fire, the skyline, the setting sun, the gold and the orange, burnt earth, the molten core, sienna, and the amber, the cool clouds, icicles, bright and royal purple sky, dripping cerulines, the formidable sea, be desert. She is the queen, brilliant royalty spreading the wings of life. Beginning a limitless, enigmatic, imperceptible flight till it grays down the cold, dry winter, till the glaring reality life will cease to be, till the lack of mystery engulfs the reason, a quest disguised, for she has swallowed her desire for life. So that was that. And I'll read just one more because it will give you I chose this because this will give you a kind of cultural background to the audience, Canadian audience, the Indian background. And this poem is called Kali. And Kali is a highly revered black deity of timeless time from Indian myth, famous for her ferocity, somewhat like Medusa from Greek mythology. So Medusa, of course, most of us are familiar with, and this is about Kali, and she's black deity. This is somewhat how I must have imagined Kali. And maybe you can Google it and find a lot of very intriguing images. So this is celebrating Kali. Swift, piercing, spear-like, ferocious, whimsical, bloodthirsty, sunken-eyed, red-tongued, she hides behind the dark masks, spiral of time, riding the fire, whirling down her flying saucer, no traces that sky could follow, rolling down the clouds underneath her feet, prostrated. Gale laughs. Squall is quiet. The earth welcomes the Kali celebrations. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Wow, thank you, Meena. I really love how you incorporate the mythical into being a woman today. You know, these powerful goddesses and collective images and myths and how, you know, we can feel them in our lives, in our womanhood. So thank you very much. And I love your art.
Thank you.
Yes, I wish that we could have shared some of your art while you were reading, but perhaps another time.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And yeah. And now Elana Wolff. Alana and I are in the same writing group, and I have to say her poetry is really incredible. It's fantastic. She is an artist as well. She is a poet painter, like Meena, like many of us here. And she doesn't show her paintings very often. She has put one on Facebook recently and people really liked it. But she is going to share 2 paintings of hers with us tonight. The first one is, well, she'll tell you. But then, yeah, so this is just really exciting and they're beautiful poems. So I will be sharing screen. And yeah.
Great. Shall I start, Brenda?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you, Brenda. Thank you for that. So I'm going to read 2 ekphrastic pieces. You asked me to read pieces for art, and this piece is not mine. This is a multimedia piece by artist Mary Lou Paysant, a Nova Scotia artist, part of the Women's Association of Canada. She used to be a studio artist, and she has inspired many poems by our group. And this is the painting, I think, that just keeps on giving. I've written a number of poems for it. I think others in our group have also written for it. It's titled Fear of Falling #1. I just want to say that ekphrastic art for me is kind of a permission to imagine and speculate and conject, to take myself places where I might not have been myself, where I might fear to go. So this piece I'm going to read to you for Fear of Falling is titled On the Drop. So you can see this figure here in the middle of a drop falling earthward. On the drop. On the drop, the falling woman sees her shadow splat. Rorschach has the metaphor. And in the eye of hint and inkling, shape upends perception, invites a viewer's take. The woman thinking gravity, mortality, momentum, the sign impending ground that reads, don't leave your life in public space. Rubbernecks are waiting down below. They'll wait till kingdom come. Motion, dried to luster color, keeps her falling fixed. So that final word fixed, of course, is doing double duty because she's never going to land. She's fixed in that position. But we can speculate about her feelings and what she sees on the way down. So yeah, that's the permission that this piece gives me. And both of these pieces, I should say, are from my new collection, Shape Taking, which arrived in the mail today, as I said earlier on in the break, and I shared the cover art, which I can't show now because it won't show up. But I hope you'll see it in the days to come. So Brenda, you can show the next piece.
Whoops.
Okay, so this piece is my piece. And there are two paintings for the poem I'm going to read. This is not an ekphrastic poem per se, in the sense that it didn't come from writing about these pieces, but in a sense, it's a process piece. It's a sort of a reflective poem on what I went through painting 8 of 12 zodiac paintings. This one is the Libra, and the one that you'll see is, the next one you'll see is the Aquarius. This is also a pandemic poem, so there's that kind of angst in it, even though it doesn't mention the word pandemic. And it's titled Painting from the Periphery. Painting from the periphery. I thought the illness might be what we get for scorning well enough. A certain sensitivity comes along with being sick. Now that I am getting used to losing footing in the world, the Libran scales are evening, at least in zodiac art, where one can render them equal, like the sign. Our artistry lies in what we designate. I'm learning how to paint from the periphery with will. A chill wind blew in with the month and hailed a wave. Aquarius, the water bearer, looking to his spill. If he had a voice to speak the query in his eyes, he might say, when the judgment's done, will we be enough to see what's coming? Thank you. So you can see these are sort of speculative pieces. They're not personal per se.
Very nice, really.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for inviting us, Brenda and Jennifer, and for everyone for sharing your work.
Thank you, Elana. That was brilliant.
Yeah, it was brilliant. Thank you so much. I love the first piece with the falling, but she never does anything but fall, you know. And
that's the beauty of painting. It holds the moment, right?
Yes, it does. It does. And then the zodiac paintings are incredible. Do you have more poems to go with them, or just these two?
Oh, wow. You know, I haven't written poems for my own paintings, which is the kind of a weird thing. It's almost like I compartmentalize.
Event like this, I hope it will inspire the artists here and the writers to think of ways to combine and you know, and you might find you know, there were echoes between the first poem and yours, you know, I'm getting used to losing footing in the world, you know. Yeah, so it was lovely, and I love your paintings. So it's just fabulous to finally see a few of them.
Thank you.
They're beautiful. They're quite surreal but in a very modernist sense. Yeah. Very simplified.
And layered. There's a lot of layer in there. Unfortunately, the photographs just never do justice to the color or the texture, right? You can't feel the texture. You can't really see it.
That's true. That's true.
Can I ask a favor?
Elana.
Sorry, can I ask a question? Would you mind reading the last line of the second poem again? Because it's stuck and now it's gone, and I thought it was brilliant.
Okay, so it's sort of the narrator in the poem projecting onto the Aquarius figure, right? The water bearer. So the very end of it, it's all one long sentence. So if he had a voice to speak the query in his eyes, he might say, when the judgment's done, will we be enough to see what's coming?
Thank you. That really struck me, and I wanted to hear it again. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
I think it's in your book, right?
It's in my book. I will
brand
put my
new book. It
on
hasn't even
Facebook
been launched
tomorrow.
yet. Yeah. The launch is coming very soon.
Thank you. Thank you for that, Valerie.
I hand the salon over to Jennifer now.
All right. I've never done this before, so I won't be quite as brilliant at doing it as Brenda, because she's really a great host, but I'm just going to get going. We have 4 more readers on the open mic, and we're going to start with Allan Weiss. I met Allan Weiss at a Guernica lounge, and he's another Montreal expat, so we hit it off. And boy, can he make you laugh. Allan is a writer of fiction, fantasy, science fiction, and nonfiction, and a professor of English and humanities at York University. Welcome, Allan.
Thank you. And I felt a little bit out of place because I'm not a poet, and the only painting I do is of little guys like this. So so I figure that probably counts. I was going back and forth about whether to read a Halloween themed horror story or something that was a bit funnier. And since Jennifer said that I can make you laugh, let's hope I can do it with the more humorous piece. It's an alternate history story that will be appearing in an anthology of Jewish alternate histories coming out in 2 volumes, one in 2022, one in 2023. I don't know which one my story is going to be in yet. So anyway, I'll give you just the opening of it. And perhaps after that, the myth on which the story is based. It's called A Tartan of Many Colors. And I hope you catch on to what the change in history might have been. He stood on the seaside cliff watching his crew unload the ship beneath the snapping gold embroidered sails. The ship rocked in the swells of the glistening North Sea as his men passed the proceeds of their latest trading voyage from vessel to rocky beach. His salt-encrusted woolen kilt hung heavily from his waist. More salt stains streaked his black wool stockings, their checkered calfskin garters, and black leather boots. Behind him came the crunch of small feet on pebble. He unbuckled his scabbard and held it out beside him, where it was taken from his hand by the lad, who struggled to hold it off the ground. He turned landward. As the steady wind fluttered his hair around his face, he scanned the field and trees and hills. Every feature of the landscape called to him, the gloomy forests to the south, broken by stretches of verdant glen, the frost-capped mountains to the west and north, their slopes bulged by screes and creased by corries, the gauzy mists veiling the valleys, the distant blue and white river cutting through the strath, and the waving heather below his feet all spoke to his memory, all sang songs that echoed in the deepest roots of his mind. He nodded his head, smiling, with a rugged voice more accustomed to shouting orders than telling the tales of his heart. He spoke to the land and the racing clouds and the rooks that cawed in the firs, and to his son, who still stood beside him. "Home again at last," he said, the words broken by his satisfaction in his Highland brogue. "What a machaya!" Thus Shlomo McIsaac surveyed his domain, savoring the transcendent pleasure of returning to the land of his birth. Shlomo was of the Dornach McIsaacs, a family whose lineage dated back beyond the establishment of the 12 clans to the very origins of the people. Uncle Saul, the clan chief, even claimed when he'd eaten too much honeyed egg bread to be a direct descendant of the leader himself. The women could laugh at his sweets-induced folly, but the men worried. If the clan had need of his wits and his right arm, was he still capable of leading them into battle? Or would he be incapacitated by the infirmities of age and overindulgence in pastries? Shlomo walked briskly into the village, followed by the 6 men and 1 lad in single file. The side curls on the younger ones swung like rope ends in a storm. As he entered the cluster of huts, the clan gathered around them, shouting their hearty shaloms, while the chickens squawked and burbled. His crew were good men, and Chaim, who had been bar mitzvahed only a few months before they left, had done well in support of the expedition. Their trading partners, those barbaric heathens with their leather kippa-like helmets and blonde hair, had frightened Chaim at first. But seeing their unsophisticated weapons and smelling their unwashed bodies and hearing their argle-bargle tongue, he'd soon lost his fear. He'd been astonished by the herds of sheep and goats in the Norsemen's pens, being unused to such ways. "Nu," Shlomo exclaimed as he neared his hut, "where's my Ruthula?" And then I'll go down a little ways and tell you the myth. Long had the tale been told that had given the Scots their identity as the chosen ones, for the ancient leader arrived upon the shores of the northwestern islands. A fisherman found the holy bairn lying in a basket woven of strange reeds and brought him home to raise as his own, naming him Robert for his shining face. The poor lad had been oddly mutilated and was much pitied for it. But when he grew, he heard the voice of the laird and spoke of the practice as a covenant with God, and so others had followed him, becoming sons of the covenant. In their faith, the covenanters had switched from trousers to kilts to ease the work of the priests with their ritual dirks. The young man then became known among the people as Robert the Briss. And when he reached his prime, Robert climbed to the top of Ben Nevis, stayed for 40 days and 40 nights, and returned with a new name, Moshe Ben Nevis, and a book of laws, the 10 Dinahs, and to tell the people of their true identity as God's own, and of their true ancestry and tongue. And the islands where he had arrived were forever after known as the Scottish Hebrides. Thank you.
Thank you, Alan. That was wonderful. And I'm happy you picked the funny one, but next time, the scary one, okay? Because it's Halloween next year. Okay, thank you. So next, we have John Oughton, who is a brilliant writer, photographer, musician, and retired college professor. His Facebook photos are so inspiring to my days, so please don't stop. Welcome, John.
Thank you. Thank you, Jennifer. And thank you, Alan. I never understood the Hebrew sources of the Hebrides before this. Okay, I'm going to read 3 not too long poems. The first one is also an ekphrastic poem by the same artist that Elana mentioned, Mary Lou Paysan. I don't have the painting to show you, but the title of it is Paired Mask. And I wrote this poem before the pandemic. And of course, masks now have a very different meaning for all of us than they did then. And it starts with a quote from Sam Shepard, the playwright. "I believe in my mask. The man I made up is me. I believe in my dance and my destiny. I've lost the mask that lets gods inhabit me, but I treasure a disguise for bank robbery. I believe in my mask. Do you buy it? Or me unmasked? Men wear no makeup. The man I made up is me. The mask of the beloved, for a time believed. Who was that masked man? And why does he only save fiction? I am growing slowly the commedia of a pantaloon. The butt, fifth wheel, slow dance into irrelevancy, my destiny. Luke, I am your farther self. Look beneath the shade. Ask me, unmask me, kiss my put on face. If you won't accompany me, how about not me? He waits. This is the dance, such masquerade. Okay, the next one is Drinking with the Dead, and I'm reading this one for Halloween because Halloween has a lot of pagan antecedents, and the Celtic festival of Samhain is not only the end of the harvest and the beginning of winter, but it's a time when the veil between the living and dead is supposed to be the thinnest. So this is about sitting in the Mount Pleasant Cemetery, having a few beers with the dead people there. No thirst like that from bones, dry to the marrow, leached and bleached. I am alone above ground, the dead excellent company. They listen, wisely adding nothing. Do not rail at red hawk sitting on a tombstone, deer grazing their graves, squirrel burying its small tribute. I take them fine brews, Belgian and German, a sip for me, then one for the arid earth, but only for the dormant poets. Those Eatons and Massies already hoisted the best. They can taste Molson's Canadian and like it. So, a toast to the dead, their city of silence, soft presence on the air. And the last one, thank you. This is about interpreting a classic cartoon as an existential statement about our lives. It's called Coyote and Roadrunner, the biggest pratfall ever seen. 1, oh, poor Coyote, the world turns trickster, reverses physics and gravity, drops him down canyons, blows him through cliffs. So often he is left with only burning desire and a charred face. 2, he, desperate artificer, rings ever more complex traps that spring him into the infinite, stalled in thin air, the prize ever unworn, roadrunner, a failing beep, beep. 3, beep, beep, Beatrice, speed of a falling angel, evades, races on, runs painted backdrops into real roads, and dogged Dante still aches for that third line to seal it up. 4, it's waking up to learn everything you aimed and wound up springs back at you. Your own worst terrorist, the executioner's hand turning on himself, while Roadrunner as sky sailor dwindles never to reappear. Beeping goes to minuendo. Thank you.
Thank you, John. That was wonderful. I know some of you took us seriously about our Halloween theme. Yeah, thank you. Okay, next we have the opposite of a Montreal expat, because Norman Cristofoli has moved to Montreal from Toronto. We miss him. He's a fantastic poet and playwright and a former publisher of Labor of Love magazine. Wonderful to see you in Toronto again, Norman. Welcome.
Well, digitally in Toronto.
Yeah, you're here in my living room, so.
When Jennifer sent me an invitation for this event, I asked her if I could read on the open mic part, because I wrote a poem last year that I thought would fit, not the Halloween, but the poem Painter. One late one night last year, I was visited by Vincent van Gogh, and he asked my help in writing one last letter to his brother. And this is what came out. It's called Dear Theo. Waves of color painted on light, flecked with imagination, capturing the moment of creation, an instant of movement, expounding the interpretation of love, wander through the mind of an artist and into the loneliness, a sense of aspiration and devotion, of dedication and desire, tears within the dream of living and the awful, awful solitude of rejection. And yet, that is my life, dear brother. It is all that I know and what I must die for. What I see is impossible to depict, maddening to transpose mind to canvas. I walk in a field of sunflowers, hand in hand with temptation, corruption within my heart. Set me aside from this pain of living. Paint my soul with the blood of fear and carry me as a babe across the bridge of eternity. So make of me an exhibition, and I will expose my thoughts, my hopes, my dreams, my emotion. I will show you all that I am and what I hope to be. You can stare at my failure and laugh at my inequity. I will give you my ear. I will give you my heart. I will give you the demon that drove me insane, one brush stroke at a time. I will give you my joy. I will give you my pain. And I will never, never ask you again.
Are you going to read any more? Or so?
No, that's it.
Okay, I thought so, because you had this long pause. That was that was beautiful. Thank you. Wow, we really have to do more poet painter or artist writer things. This is very interesting. I love it. Thank you, Norman. That was great. And now Norman Allan, who is a wonderful artist, a writer of prose and poetry, and a healer and a scientist who we miss. We haven't seen you as well, even though you're in Toronto. So welcome, Norman. Oh, can you unmute yourself, please? There we go.
So glad to have found you again. And the last while I've been working on a science project and a prose project, and not written much poetry, but a lot of little epigrams. What's the matter? Sulky face, let's go to the park. You can bring your bike because I trust you. No, I trust you. Oh, you're so cute, you're so cute, you're so cute I could eat you up. You're so cute I could eat you up. And 6 rants concerning the progenitor of the people of the book. 1. Go there into Canaan and kill them all. Thus spake the God of Abraham to the Hebrew, Lord, O Lord. 2. As Bob said, God said to Abraham, kill me a son. And he said a lot to Lot's wife too, don't look back. And we've been salty ever since, though I just say so because I think it might sound nice. 3. When Abraham was in Egypt's land, a free man, he tried to pimp his wife to pander Sarah off as his sister. And Pharaoh said, piss off. 4. Isaac again, oi, Hariram. 5. Crazy Abe and the handmaid, Hannah and Ishmael, sent into the desert to entwine our fates forever. 6. And that's about it.
Oh, are you done? That's about it.
I could be done. I could be done, yes.
Oh, wow. Thank you. That was wonderful. Wow. This, what a wonderful open mic we have. I swear this has got to be one of the most wonderful open mics. I've heard such wonderful, wonderful work, and I'm speechless now. I'm just absorbing all your amazing words. Brenda, did you want to see if anybody else wanted to join? Because we've finished our open mic, so if
we're at 9:30, so we could just open the floor if anybody wants to hang around a bit. Or
yeah, it would be lovely.
It's quite late. It's because I had a technical mess up. So sorry about that.
It's going to be that. At least we didn't get Zoom bombed.
No.
Yes, but there was somebody in the waiting room.
That was actually a person I know. She messaged me later, but I didn't know because there was no name.
There were just numbers, so there was no name.
We didn't let her in. Now
oh well. But it's good, because I did put the link in the event on Monday. Yeah. So yeah, it was fun. So wonderful to see you all, like Mary Lou, and thank you, Norman and Sterling's here from the States. She's a beautiful painter and poet. But she had some dental work done today. So I said, just come and listen. So So that's wonderful that you came, Sterling. I'm so happy, and you've been. Oh, there you are. Oh, that's Sally. Hi, Sally. Yeah, you've been hiding too. It's been
Shifting
wonderful.
boxes.
On the sofa, so you didn't need to see that. But
It's
I
not, oh, hi, Sterling. Hi, hi. You look great. I don't know if you're all frozen, you don't look it. So
I just want to thank you, Brenda and Jennifer, for organizing this event and for presenting your amazing work, and for the opportunity to listen and to see all of you, and yes, and to be heard too. It's very gratifying, very gratifying.
all the people who shared poems, it was all just very cohesive. The whole evening, just yeah. And Halloween
it was inspiring. I feel like after seeing the video work that Brenda and Jennifer are doing with their poems and art, I got to pull up my socks and learn to edit video in more than a Mickey Mouse way. Maybe in my next lifetime.
You know,
a lot of work.
There's be inspired. You know, just be
It's
inspired.
very inspiring and enlightening, and it really allows us also to access places in ourselves, to see that kind of intimacy that's shared. Yeah. So thank you
also
for that.
intimidating if you've got so many people with multiple talents, and I think, wait a minute, I barely have one. What is all this?
Stop it, Alan. Just
That's
stop
right.
it.
I'm sure you play the bagpipes very well.
Hello.
Thank you for including me. I need to go because I've been going since early this morning, but I'm going to have amazing dreams, I think. I feel utterly saturated, but in the best way.
Good.
I also have to leave. I haven't had dinner yet.
Oh my God, Elana, you better go eat.
Nice to see you all.
Yeah,
thank you all of you, and thank you again
for sharing and
a
organizing.
wonderful evening. Thank you, everybody,
Yes.
for coming out and sharing. And it was just great to see you all.
Yeah.
And next time, live, we'll see each other live.
Yeah, live.
Amen.
Wow.
Amen.
What a
Sella.
concept.
It's like an idea, yeah.
But the visuals will be more difficult when you're live. This is
Yes.
a joy now that they're there.
Yeah.
Well, I gave Brenda my screen, my pull down screen, so she can just.
Yeah, I have it. It's still in storage.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, but
yeah,
you could-
you know what? We could have a live event, you know, and use the screen. and
Remember we
project.
did one at the art bar I had an event and you
Yeah.
you did the thing.
Yeah,
I
did that at Palmerston because they had a screen
Yeah.
built in and cameras. But yeah, it's totally possible. I've got a projector. It's a very cheap one, so it has to be the same level as the screen. But yeah, it would be possible to do this live.
Maybe at the Transact one day, right?
Yeah, we could. We definitely
fun.
could. But I'd love you, Meena, to do a video somehow. So we got to be in touch. I don't know, Jennifer's kind of, you know.
I have videos. Actually, I'm doing a lot of digital art these days.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So I have
Yeah.
small videos, but
Yeah,
we should get
fantastic.
together.
Yes, yes. Yeah.
Bye, everyone. Thank you so
Bye,
much.
Kate.
Such a
Kate.
rich evening.
Love you. Bye.
Love you too. Love your work.
Bye.
Everyone.
Thank you very much,
Bye.
everybody. And it was just
Night, everybody.
awesome.
Thanks for having a newbie. I appreciate
Yeah.
the
Oh
chance
my
to hear all
God,
of you.
Valerie, it was fantastic to have you.
It was great to see you,
I
Brenda.
follow you on
and John
Facebook,
both.
all your
performing.
photographs and all
Oh,
your
thank you.
posts. Oh, it's just yes. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm so happy you're here. Thank you.
Oh, well, thank you so much. I loved hearing all the poetry and seeing the art. I was really inspired and moved and thrilled and delighted. So thanks, everybody, for sharing your art.
Are you a poet as well, or?
No, I'm well, I mean, I sort of hang in a circle of very creative people, which is how I know Brenda and John both. And a number of other, I used to be a radio announcer and I've done some writing. Yeah, but I haven't been in radio for a long time. I have a huge passion for music and writing, but I've never done anything other than like what Brenda says, what I share on Facebook. I do a little bit of like mini sort of blogging and a mindful approach, along with photographs that I take in nature and things like that. But I wouldn't
Oh,
describe
we have
myself
an
as an artist.
MC for our show.
Okay, I'll
MC
check
I
it
can
out.
do. I've done lots of MCing. That's something I know how to do.
Okay, Mikey, you've got experience, and you know you could. That would be fantastic. We just got to get a venue.
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
That's a
And
big
also, you
part of
know,
it.
maybe this will inspire you to put some of your writing with your photographs and put them in video form.
I don't know. I'm intimidated by this group.
No,
You're
it's
all so
not.
talented. I don't know about that, but I
But
appreciate it. I appreciate
some of
that.
your photographs and your posts would be absolutely amazing to show the images and do the voiceover.
Thanks, Brenda. I appreciate
You might
that.
be inspired. I hope so.
Yeah, possibly. It'll be all on you for posting this event. So I appreciate it.
Brenda, if you feel like doing a road trip, there's a lot of venues open in Montreal.
Find them for us, and we'll be there.
All of us can go together.
Yes, we could get a bus, and
Yeah.
Brandon could drive the bus, but he's gone. Yes.
Good night, everybody.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go. Bye bye.
Oh yeah,
Still
you
have my
are
license.
still here. Yeah, Brandon, you drive the bus. Bye bye.
Bye.
I don't think Brandon
Good
wants
night.
to drive buses anymore.
No, but
Right?
he could drive us all to Toronto, to Montreal.
Or we take a train.
Yes, we'll take
Yeah.
a train. I love
bus
the train.
or a car.
Yeah, the train is my
We'll
favorite.
just stay at Norman's. He's got apparently a spare bedroom. So.
Yeah,
Right?
I could fit 12 to 14 people.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Did we bring sleeping bags? Yeah.
Sleeping bags, you know.
We'll
stuff
bring our sleeping bags and pillows.
Yeah.